say this is the toughest part of emceeing an event, is to get everyone to sit down and calm down and get started. So we're going to have a little transition. We're going to start today to honor our country and start things off. We are pleased to introduce the Carmel River School 5th grade choir. Please rise and face the flag as they perform our national anthem. Yeah. That was a great way to start things off. Welcome to Junior Achievement's 2023 Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame. Today we are proud to continue a wonderful annual tradition, and doesn't it feel good to be out and about? It's nice, isn't it? We will honor an esteemed group of local business leaders while supporting educators, volunteers, and students taking part in Junior Achievement's economic education programs here on the Central Coast. And a couple of years ago, several years ago I think, I had a chance to highlight one of JA's programs on the news. And it's just a really cool program that brings together middle and high schoolers, pairs them up with local professionals, and teaches them about personal finance. So it's everything from household budget, to a mortgage, to rent, to financing a car. And I think that it was incredibly enlightening for the kids. Because what we heard over and over and over again is, boy, things are expensive. I said, yes, they are. But the big takeaway from that program was, what does it take to get where you want to go? What does it take to get the job and the salary that will afford you a comfortable lifestyle here on the Central Coast? And for those kids, I think what they walked away from that day thinking and knowing was it was education. And that is a really good lesson to learn early on, and it's the type of thing that Junior Achievement does over and over and over again. And Taryn, I looked up that when we did that, and that was in February of 2020. Should we go back to February of 2020? It was right before the world as we know it, of course, imploded. And the pandemic was such a challenging time for everyone, including the business community. All of you in this room had to be incredibly resilient, literally reinventing how you did business, and at the same time trying to help employees and your communities navigate unprecedented times. So it was difficult, and I think that a lot of people depended on all of you. Back then, I don't think we thought it was going to be years, but here we are, sort of emerging from that nightmare. But then shall we talk about the last few weeks here on the Central Coast? A series of atmospheric river storms just pummeled the Central Coast. You had the Santa Cruz Mountains, water and power problems persist there. Santa Cruz coast just hammered. Then you have all the inland communities, the low-lying areas around our creeks and rivers, and all the flooding that they experienced, all the way down to Big Sur, where some of those communities down there are still isolated and cut off today. Once again, your resiliency tested, and the business community asked to step up and help their communities. And that's what you all do every day. So just take a moment for me and for all of you to salute that resiliency, that dedication, that commitment to your communities, because it just doesn't happen without all of you. So thank you for all of that. Yes. And I would like to introduce now to a man who has, well, speaking of the last 3 weeks, Nick Pasculi has, I don't know how he did anything else the last 3 weeks, but he is, he is the communications director of Monterey County, but he is also the Business Hall of Fame committee chair. So he has been a busy man, and I'd like to invite him up to the stage right now where he can talk a little bit about, well, how he's managed the last few weeks and also the Business Hall of Fame. Nick?
Well, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. And as Aaron said, yes, I'm Nick Pasculi. I am the County of Monterey's Chief Public Information Officer and County Communications Director. And the last 3 weeks have been, let's put it this way, wet and soggy for the most part. And it's been a challenge because in the time of disaster, you're trying to get information out to people as quickly as possible that's accurate and transparent, and I think the county has really risen to the occasion in that regard, and so I'm proud of the efforts the county has made to help people in our community. As Aaron has said, the businesses, our community, and your public servants have risen to the occasion. So, as you may know, I was involved with my own business for many years and sold it in December of 2021. I worked very, very closely with the Central Coast Ag community as a marketing and communications professional. And I was fortunate in 2017 to be here in front of you, in front of this group, receiving the award for the Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame. And this year I'm happy to be part of the selection committee as well as the event committee. It is truly an honor to be here with you today. And later in the program you'll hear more about the unique selection process and the things that it takes for someone to be nominated for this prestigious recognition. But welcome, that's the most important thing, and thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us as being part of an important celebration that we do annually. Today we continue the tradition of recognizing individuals and organizations that are the fabric of our community. The Monterey Bay business community is unlike any other. We have very small neighborhood businesses to large corporations with global reach. Central Coast companies and institutions are committed to ethical and sustainable business practices, a desire and willingness to support and empower the hardworking workforce that we have here on the Central Coast. And above all, the commitment to the community and philanthropy. These are practices and principles that we celebrate through the Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame. And of course, we're here to celebrate the next generation of business leaders, our junior achievement students. If you're new to the mission of junior achievement, please take time to learn about the powerful programs and opportunity JA offers students, schools, and fellow nonprofit organizations. You'll hear from JA staff members and students. You'll find information on upcoming opportunities to get involved. And so please join me and many JA champions in the room today by supporting these great efforts. JA's economic empowerment model is fundamental to long-term success of the business community of our state and our world. We can help us grow the next generation of financially stable and career-ready young adults to prepare for the demands of the 21st century workforce. Lastly, I'd like to take a moment to recognize our 2023 presenting sponsor, Diariga, New York. It gives me great pride to see their logo up, well, it was up a few minutes ago, and to think to myself, here we have a sponsor from New York City, all right? That's pretty cool. So thank you, Diariga, New York. It's a remarkable show of support from a company obviously based in the East Coast to help us honor local leaders and helping to ensure the success of this year's event. For those joining us via live broadcast, we send our gratitude and thanks and appreciation for your support as well. So sincere thanks to every sponsor and donor who have contributed this year. Thank you for making a difference, and thank you for being here to help Junior Achievement achieve its mission. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Nick, and honestly, thanks for all the work the last couple of weeks. We depended on Nick a lot. Right now, we want to show you a brief video highlighting some of Junior Achievement's programs and their impact on young people. Take a look.
We envision a world where young people have the skill set and mindset to build thriving communities. It starts with one change maker. It can be a volunteer, an educator, or a supporter. This changemaker inspires and prepares students to succeed through learning experiences that focus on 3 sets of critical life skills not always taught in school. These learning experiences help students connect what they learn in school to life outside the classroom. This impacts the many students we reach today and the countless lives they will influence tomorrow. We do this by bringing a different approach to education that uses innovation and contextual learning in partnership with educators, employers, and the community at large. In the end, our promise is to provide learning experiences that help young people reach their potential. In other words, our name is our promise.
Building future business leaders, that's what they do. I'd like to thank a few of the people who played such a vital role in the success of this event. First of all, the Hall of Fame Committee. The names of our 2023 committee members displayed on your screen. There you go. Committee members, please stand and be recognized. This group of JA board members and past Hall of Fame inductees are really the engine behind this event. They're the people who make it happen. Yeah. It's their work that makes sure the Business Hall of Fame stays true to its purpose of recognizing and promoting ethical business practices and community involvement. Also, Nick mentioned one of our sponsors, but we have to mention a few others as well, because as all of you know, these kinds of events don't happen without sponsors, so we really want to give them their due. We have Diariga of New York, as Nick said, New York City, pretty cool. Diariga, California, Folktale Group, Taylor Farms, Pacific Valley Bank, and many more. Thank you for supporting this event, and thank you for supporting Junior Achievement. And finally, a special thanks to Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach Company is not just our incredible host today, they're also a major sponsor of this event. They are active volunteer partners in Junior Achievement here on the Central Coast and are a foundation funder of JA classroom programs. So we want to thank Pebble Beach, also thank the staff here today, best in the business. Thank you for supporting Junior Achievement. You know, at the core of what Junior Achievement does, if their name is Junior Achievement, is to help young people and to help mold young people into responsible citizens as well as business leaders of the future. So we are lucky to have with us today a table of local students and educators joining us from Watsonville High School. Where are you? Give us a little shout here. Where's Watsonville High School? There they are. And we have two special guests who are going to share some brief remarks about their JA experience. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Yuratzia Arias and Eli Romero.
I'm sure. uh, Hello everyone, my name is Eli Romero, and this is Janet C. Arias Luna, and we're currently juniors at Watsumo High School. It is an honor being here representing our school and peers who are part of the BATA Academy. BATA stands for Business, Agriculture, Technology Academy. I had to say this is a very exciting moment for us because we have this opportunity to speak about our experience through the Junior Achievement Program. Terran Barcahol, our Regional Director for JA, has provided us with many opportunities, including an industry tour to the Origo Brothers in the Monterey County office. We also been able to utilize curriculum from JA's virtual platform, including career exploration.
I'm a little taller than you. Okay. So ever since I was a child, I've known that I've wanted to have my own business. I remember climbing up the 2 lemon trees from my childhood home and picking out the most yellow-colored lemon I could find that I thought was best to make lemonade. Climbing up to the top and seeing the view of my neighborhood, thinking about the money I was soon going to make. Cars passed by while I waved the big sign that said, "Stop by and buy the best lemonade in town," as a way to market my product. Though I only charged 50 cents, I thought I was making hundreds of dollars. As you can see, my passion for business began at a very young age. Joining the BATA Academy has allowed me to gain valuable skills and knowledge that I can use in my future to obtain a cosmetology license and open up my very own business someday. For many teenagers such as myself, exploring the world and being independent is frightening. I think about my future and I see myself excelling because of the way the BATA Academy and the JA program has prepared me. Though I only joined this year, I have learned many valuable skills, such as the correct way to communicate with an audience or buyer, how to effectively market a product, and speak confidently in front of a group of people, just as I am right now. Junior Achievement has inspired me and my classmates to succeed throughout time in the BATA Academy, with their proven lessons that promote financial capability, career readiness, and business ownership. I feel successful that one day I will be an entrepreneur, which is why we think the JA program is an essential program for local high school students. Especially coming from a highly agriculture-based town, having this knowledge is viable for students that are interested in the path of business. The Dorigo field trip was such an impactful experience for us because we were able to see the inside of what a business truly looks like. One of my favorite departments that we visited was the marketing and sales department. The spokesperson talked about her job with so much enthusiasm and joy I could feel it. Much of what was presented to us was something that we never thought we would be able to see.
When we think about our life, how we'll be in the future, we might not have something solid in mind. As teenagers, we often look for a guide, and that's what I see in the JA program. Time flies, and when we least expect it, we must be already choosing what we want to pursue in the future. More recently, taking the trip to the Origo Brothers and visiting the different departments, talking with different representatives, has built up my interest in taking a path related to marketing. This is something I have been interested in before, but knowing what they do in the office, knowing what they do out there for the company has really built my interest in more, and now I want to pursue that in the future. So I want to say thank you to the Origo Brothers for this impact, and also as the trip to the Origo Brothers impact me, it also impact our fellow classmates. Thank you to JA program for making this possible for us, and to the Origo Brothers once again for cultivating the experience we had during our job shadow day, which helped lay out a path for our success. Thank you.
Junior Achievement Works, example A. Right now I'd like to call to the stage our power leadership team here on the Central Coast, Christine Burr and Taryn Barca-Hall.
We didn't rehearse.
We don't need to.
So, good afternoon. My name is Christine Burr, and I'm the president and CEO of Junior Achievement of California. And in the last 18 months, I'm actually an official resident of Santa Cruz County. I live in the Santa Cruz Mountains. So yes, we were pummeled and just completely torn apart by the storms, but you're right. We're very resilient, and I'm happy to be here with this glorious sunshine, amazing venue today.
Should we do a program update?
Wait, no.
No,
I want to tell you about Junior Achievement, then we'll do the programs. So one of the best things about these events is that we have huge supporters of Junior Achievement, people that have known Junior Achievement for decades. And then we get some new people in, and it's an opportunity to sort of share some of the things. I mean, yeah, we had a booth out there that had a little bit of information about who we are, but I don't know if you know that Junior Achievement is a global organization, and we've been around for more than 100 years. We started after the war in 1919 teaching high school students to start businesses because we needed to jumpstart the economy, and that obviously worked amazingly well. We called it the Junior Achievement Company Program, and kids aren't pitching a business, they're actually starting a business, and they're still doing that today. We have about a dozen teams operating right now with the help and support of corporate partners like you all, and it's an amazing, deep experience that kids get to take with them for the rest of their lives. Whenever we meet people that are Junior Achievement alumni, more often than not, they've taken advantage of this program. But we serve students from 5 to 25 years old. And if you are a passionate supporter of Junior Achievement, you might be scratching your head thinking that's new news, because we used to stop serving students after 12th grade. And that didn't feel right to us as an organization, and so we saw an opportunity to go deep with kids that have leaned into the Junior Achievement experience, and we're sticking with them through the world, getting them into that first job, whatever that may be, whether it's something that requires a college degree, whether it's a skill that requires a certification, or if it's something that is very important, like the trades. We have internships and apprenticeships and mentorships, and we call them the ships, and we think it's pretty valuable and important programming in 3 areas: financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship. And in the Central Coast, we activate some really spectacular programs that Taryn curates, so head over.
Thank you. I gotta play with the podium. It's just the Cadillac of podiums, Pebble Beach, always the best in the business. Interestingly, by the way, 1919, we share an anniversary with Pebble Beach, so we turned 100 along with the Pebble Beach Company a few years ago. But yeah, we've been around for a long time. I am Taryn. I'm the regional director here in Central California on the Central Coast, and been lucky enough to be with the organization. It's my 13th year with you guys here in this ballroom, which is pretty amazing. And I look around and see some familiar faces. I see Sue, who was there 13 years ago, a lot of people. And it's really just been a pleasure and a joy, and time flies. Let me share with you, if I may, a brief update on some of the programs that we have running this school year in Monterey County, Santa Cruz County, and San Benito County, our 3 Central Coast Monterey Bay counties. Bear with me, because I'm going to go through it quickly. We've got a lot going on. We have a lot going on. We came out of a pandemic and remote learning, and now we're back in the classroom, so we're just chomping at the bit. One program I want to mention, we talked about this last year, JA Inspire. This is a virtual career fair. This was a silver lining of the pandemic for us, where we invested resources in an online virtual career fair experience, and it's running this year. It's incredible, it's interactive, students log in and get to explore every career cluster under the sun, and I'm very pleased to say that this year we have over 1,000 Watsonville Middle School students who are enrolled in JA Inspire. So that's a great program. I also want to point out JA Connect. This is a program, if you have a teenager at home and they've never dabbled with JA, send them this URL right here, connect.ja.org. It's open to the public. It's a series of mini lessons, 5-minute, 10-minute interactive lessons covering all aspects of career readiness and personal finance. One of my favorites, 5-minute lesson on how to dress for a job interview. Like powerful, super powerful. It's got animations built in, it's designed to appeal to a teenage audience, and it's genuinely effective. Great definition on what is business casual versus business attire versus semi-formal. Anyway, really cool resource open to the public. Finance Park. So Aaron mentioned our Finance Park program. That's powerful stuff. A simulation of real-world personal finance for teenagers. We are running that program in its virtual form this year, and it's ongoing. 500 kids currently participating in Salinas and Castroville, more in Hollister as well. And it's a classroom curriculum that culminates with a video game simulation of life in the real world. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it out there. A teenager has to buy groceries, find a place to live, pay for childcare if their life scenario includes children. It's real world stuff, and it's incredible. You heard the students talk about some of our classroom programs. We're lucky enough this year to be back face to face. We actually have volunteers in local classrooms. And if you were with us years ago, we historically had a series of Spring JA Days. These are elementary programs where volunteers go into classrooms and teach our personal finance and career readiness lessons to kids, little guys. You want to talk about needs and wants and budgeting with a second grader? It's fun, it's cool. That's a cool program. And the first one this spring is the 22nd of March. Literally today, you could sign up at the program booth in the lobby, and you could be with us at Prunedale Elementary School. Love the North County District. Love how Prunedale, I bet you everybody in this room lives within 50 minutes of Prunedale, right? Right in the central part of the Monterey Bay area. Job shadows, you heard our Watsonville students talk about job shadows. Likewise, you want to host students in your office, or your place of business? Sign up, we can make that happen. Pebble Beach has hosted them in the past, Delicado Wines down in King City. And of course, you heard about Dorigo, the county of Monterey. Told you I'm going to go fast. We're going. The last update I wanted to share, and I was really pleased earlier when we were mingling in the lobby to see Nick from the First Tee. One thing you may not be aware of, by supporting junior achievement, you empower us to support our fellow nonprofits out there. So we have this incredible resource that our deep curriculum. We provide that to fellow nonprofits like the First Tee, and Nick and I couldn't figure out if it's been 10 years or 12 years or however many years it's been. They're a great partner. Chispa Housing, we were able to support their on-site apartment developments, delivering our programs to their residents. We work with after-school programs like Pro Youth down in South County, in King City. So again, support us, and it allows us to support our fellow nonprofits. However we can reach students, wherever they may be, that is our goal. Okay. I told you there's a lot going on. Okay.
But this is a fundraiser.
True.
So I need you to get ready. So junior achievement programs are provided at no cost to students, schools, parents, nonprofit partners. And there is an opportunity to support the curriculum development and the implementation of those programs today. So Taryn likes to use the math of how much?
$1,000, that empowers one class.
So $1,000 will serve junior achievement programming for an entire classroom of students. That's a pretty good deal in my opinion. I think it's spectacular. We have some incentives to get you all going. We have an amazing grand prize today. So for every $100 that is donated by an individual, you will get an entry into this amazing prize. I think it might be the best one that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's a Caribbean vacation package, and you get to choose. There's 3 destinations that you can choose from: Antigua, Panama, or Barbados. It's 7 nights of hotel accommodations, and it's up to 3 rooms. These are really nice facilities. So at your table, there's a QR code in the middle on the table tent, and if you scan that, you can donate directly. I also have staff around the room that can swipe cards, and if your entire table donates, then you get a balloon, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. We'll put a balloon on your table. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So then for people that are old school and don't like the technology, we can have you fill out an actual pledge card. So maybe somebody at each table that really loves junior achievement can be the table captain and encourage full-on giving. But we have about a $20,000 goal for this event on this day. So we've raised money coming in with sponsorships and table purchases, but we'd like to serve more students in the Central Coast this spring. So we're setting that goal and we'll update you throughout. What else do you want them to know about?
Auction. Did anybody bid on an auction item today? Any? Yeah, don't forget about the auction. I love a new method we embraced a couple years ago, which is the silent auction is open through Monday. So there's no ticking clock today. Take your time. We'll have an intermission momentarily. You can peruse the auction items and bid through your phone. You don't need to download an app, just any browser on your phone. Amazing items. I also want to point out none of the auction items are consignment items, meaning they were all donated by our generous partners and donors. So every dollar that you bid toward the auction goes directly to Underwrite JA programs. So please bid freely. Golfers, we've got the preserve. Steve and Leanne, thank you for the preserve this year. That's a big item. If you've never played the San Lucia Preserve, that's in there. Quail is in there. Pasadera, thanks to Jana and PB Bank, is in there. Really good stuff. Wine, George Kittle, go Niners, right? Signed George Kittle jersey. So please, we will take an intermission, I think right now. Are we on time? Okay, so we will step down, let you enjoy your lunch, take about a 5 or 10 minute break, and then we'll come back for the main event. Thank you guys.
but we need all of you to dig perhaps a little deeper. And on the competitive front, just, to put it out there, Dr. Betty Saxon has donated $1,000. Thank you, Betty. So maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you would like to match that. I don't know, it's that competitive thing, right? Got a match here? Thank you. I knew that competitive thing would work, right? All right, it is now time to turn our attention to the guests of honor, the community leaders who comprise the 2023 class of the Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame. They do join a distinguished list of past Hall of Fame inductees who together make up a very prestigious list on the Central Coast, as you might imagine. Each year, the Hall of Fame Selection Committee considers nominees from all corners of the Central Coast, all of our counties. The committee completes an objective review and confidential balloting process based on a set criteria. On the screen, you can see the 5 categories that the committee weighs when considering candidates and casting their votes. Excellence in business with a demonstrated commitment to ethical business practices. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? Vision and innovation, commitment to community, inspiring leadership, courageous thinking and actions. Our 2023 inductees make up the 18th class of the Business Hall of Fame, and they will join the distinguished community of past recipients that you now see listed on your screen. It's kind of a who's who of business here on the Central Coast. At this point, we would like to ask all former honorees to please stand so that we can recognize you. If you're here, please stand. All right, now down to business. Our first honoree today is Greg Ahn. He described his younger self as a wandering soul with varied interests and passions. Digging into his roots, though, it's no wonder he did find his way eventually into a career in business. His family history in entrepreneurship goes back generations. His grandfather and great uncle were successful industrialists in Korea, forced to abandon that business, though, during the Korean War. That was in North Korea. Over 20 years, they reestablished themselves in South Korea, but then were again forced to leave under the thumb of political corruption, finally moving the family to Canada in the 1960s. Greg's mom and dad eventually settled in Los Angeles, where Greg would grow up. They were also hardworking business owners. Mom ran a restaurant, and Dad built a business in real estate. In the Ahn family, hard work was the norm. As a young man, Greg pursued his many passions: design, fashion, and the arts. He found the perfect outlet to combine his creative talents with his business smarts in the world of wine. Building a career in brand management and luxury marketing, for more than a decade, he poured his energy into learning every aspect of the wine world. Mid-career, though, Greg had an epiphany. He had this realization that he was putting in countless hours on behalf of a corporate employer. What would happen if he put those countless hours into his own enterprise? He'd grown up immersed in entrepreneurship, so the inherent risks really didn't scare him. Looking back, Greg also says that he launched his business with an unhealthy level of confidence. I think a lot of entrepreneurs in this room can probably relate. But he had the work ethic to match that confidence. In 2006, he co-founded Cannonball Wine Company, quickly growing the business before selling his interest in 2010. He then launched a wine portfolio venture called Cult of 8, which had its first smash hit in 2013 with the launch of Bread and Butter Winery. Cult of 8 spent 4 consecutive years on Inc. magazine's list of fastest growing private companies. Greg's Folktale Group, which he launched in 2009, now encompasses 9 national wine brands, 2 wineries, over 400 acres of vines, 4 restaurants, and a national distribution company, a wellness company, and a new craft spirits portfolio. Apparently, one wasn't enough, Greg. In 2015, Greg and his wife Madigan acquired a 15-acre estate winery in Carmel Valley, which was then reimagined and reborn as Folktale Winery and Vineyards. Folktale has become a go-to destination in Carmel for local and visitors alike. When the sun shines, it is delightful. His steakhouse, 7th and Dolores, is a fixture of downtown Carmel dining. Asked to name his greatest achievements, it's not wine, not business. Greg first mentions his successful marriage and happy, healthy kids. Greg is proud that he and his wife have made sure that family has always been the priority. Second, he cites Folktale's company culture, which he describes as people-focused. In recent years, Greg has turned his focus to the people of the greater Monterey Bay community, investing time and resources into philanthropy. He supports numerous causes and describes philanthropy as just good business. He's particularly proud of his work on behalf of Rancho Cielo Youth Campus in Salinas. Greg's combination of artistic vision and good old-fashioned work ethic has produced positive results in every one of his many endeavors. Today, we salute that unique blend of artistry and elbow grease as we induct Greg into the Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, Greg.
This thing drops. My son was asking me if I had prepared a speech today, and I realized I had never prepared a speech in my life. So this was no exception. First, I want to thank JA for all the work that they do, number one, but for this incredible honor. When Taryn and Dr. Kamath approached me about this honor, and they showed me the inductee list, I was pretty sure they had made a big mistake and confused me with someone else, but they haven't rescinded it yet, so here I am in front of you. Leading up to this, I started asking myself what I wanted to talk about besides thanking people, but I recently read a article that I thought that was called The Swedish Art of Aging Exuberantly. And I read this article and I was like, you know what this is? This is a business book. And there were 3 key takeaways that I wanted to share with everybody that I was like, this is what everyone should think about when they think about business. One of those key things to aging exuberantly was something called cherished pain. So cherished pain is, as we get a little bit older, maybe our back starts hurting, maybe our eyes aren't as strong as they once were, maybe your knee, you can't make that plant and turn like you used to, but the art or philosophy of cherished pain is celebrating those things that you can do, that you're still able to do. And when I thought about that, I said, this is the key to business, especially entrepreneurship, because it is just a constant barrage of pain. Challenges, economy, weather, whatever it is, you're constantly solving problems. And the thing that makes it possible to excel is this attitude and this perspective of celebrating those things that are good in business, in your life, and I guess inspires you to get up and go strong. So that was one. So the second one was say yes. Say yes was something that resonated with me as a business person, because I think in many cases we get into a rut or a mentality that, oh, this worked before, it should work again. And we get kind of complacent with when things are working well. And so the idea that new ideas and new opportunities should always be embraced, I think is also key to business. And the last thing that it talked about was to surround yourself with the right people. In this case, because it was a book about aging, they talked particularly about youth, surrounding yourself with youthful people, which I thought was a little inaccurate because I have a lot of youthful people in my life, and I wish some of them would go away. So I was like, you know what it really is? It's youthful thinking. It's the right people with the right mindsets that change your whole surrounding in order for you to feel confident and safe to fight the battle and to get up in the morning and do it again and achieve your goals. And so with that, I wanted to thank some of the people that have joined me today that I've invited that are so key to anything that our business does. I cannot overstate each and every person's contribution. I'm gonna start with the people I blame most for my life, which is my mother and father. We talked a little about how they were role models and how hard they worked and their sacrifice and their generosity. And I try to do this for my kids, but that unhealthy level of confidence comes from them. They're Korean though, so also my humility comes from them because they were always good at saying, "You're amazing, but don't forget," so I want to thank Mom and Dad because they I obviously wouldn't be here without you, but thank you for everything you've done. I was lucky enough to meet my wife when I was 10 years old, and so I quickly had another set of parents, one of which is with us today, May Bao-Ni, who, man, this is the most colorful woman I've ever met in my life, and keeps me on my toes and keeps me honest and has been nothing but supportive. And Madigan's father, who passed away a few years ago, was probably my biggest cheerleader and also an inspiration in business. So I'd like to thank them for everything that they've given me. The next set of people represented here by Randy Pura and Margie Wiest are the kind of people in my life that have been both mentors, supporters, extended family that kind of gives you the confidence and encouragement and support to grow beyond your own limitations and expectations. So I want to thank Randy and Margie and Bill and everyone that you guys represent. You guys have been amazing support, and also the businesses wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you, thank you. I also brought our leadership team from the company, Jeff Ottoboni, Raquel Clark, David Baird, and Mark Dreyer. These guys are, man, they take my crazy ideas and all my shiny object distractions and actually turn them into businesses that run and succeed and are very helpful in burying all the mistakes and failed businesses I've had, which didn't make it into the presentation, luckily, but that's part of it. So I want to thank them for all their hard work, their loyalty, their dedication, and they are more than anything part of this family as well. And last person, and perhaps the most important person in my life, is my wife Madigan, who I cannot overstate her contribution to this business, our success, our happiness, and we have a set of values at our company that we constantly beat the drum on, and every single one of them is inspired by her, and so I can't thank you enough. So thanks. So that's it. Those are my lessons, and I want to thank everyone for being here and being part of this. I think the best thing about having any success and is being, especially in this community, is now being able to be a part of giving back. I want to thank Chris and Judge Phillips for allowing me to be part of Rancho Cielo. I'm going to muscle my way into JA so that I can do more with this amazing organization and all the great work that they do to create our next generation of business people. And I guess that's it. I should have prepared a speech. Thank you.
It's okay, Greg, it's just the heels. And I'm going to take that cherished pain concept back to the newsroom and tell Dan Green all about that. Coming off a hip replacement, I'm going to tell you just got to cherish that a little bit longer. Our next honoree today, Carrie Burkhofer, one of the most accomplished and respected CEOs in Santa Cruz County. In her younger years, however, she envisioned a career in media. She loved working on her high school paper, went off to college planning to major in communications and become a TV news anchor. I think you might have made the right decision. It was her father who first recommended she consider a path in accounting. Carrie's dad had been a really important mentor throughout her life. In her youth, she watched him rise through the ranks of his publishing company, eventually becoming president and CEO. He saw accounting as an emerging field for women and encouraged Carrie, just take a few classes, see if it clicks. Well, it did. She changed her major to economics and completed her CPA and said goodbye to media. Carrie took a job with an accounting firm that worked exclusively with credit unions. After 6 years learning the ins and outs of the industry, she decided to relocate to beautiful Santa Cruz, California. She took over as VP of Finance at Bay Federal Credit Union. When the CEO left, they asked Carrie to step in as interim CEO. Nearly 30 years later, she's dropped the interim, and she's still in that role, having overseen a remarkable period of growth and transformation. From $70 million in assets to over $1.6 billion, the largest member-owned financial institution in Santa Cruz County, supporting over 80,000 members and more than 2,400 local businesses. Early on, Carrie recalls witnessing the impact that the company culture can have on business performance. So well before the studies and the statistics proved her point, Carrie understood innately that the organization's success hinged on culture, building a place where employees enjoyed coming to work and customers enjoyed doing business. Bay Federal's culture has been recognized locally for years, and in 2019, the Credit Union Journal, a national industry publication, recognized Bay Federal as the #1 best credit union to work for in the entire country. That's a good corporate culture. There have, of course, been many challenges over the years. Asked to name some of the obstacles that she's had to overcome, Carrie points to the balance needed to raise 3 kids and juggle the demands of a CEO's schedule. And there have been, of course, economic downturns, fires, pandemics, most recently storm damage and floods. Carrie says that business leaders must, to some extent, learn to thrive in chaos. I think a lot of you can relate to that, at least lately. And view challenges as opportunities to offer more services to more local people, opportunities to demonstrate corporate citizenship and give back to the community you serve. Carrie and her team at Bay Fed are used to giving back. They have long supported employee volunteerism, serving Thanksgiving dinner at the senior center, supporting beach cleanups, education and outreach with local schools and nonprofits. Carrie's been an active leader with the Monterey Bay Economic Partnership, moving the needle on affordable housing, not easy to do, job creation, and other key issues that we face as a region. In Carrie's words, we love where we live, and we protect what we love. As for the next chapter, well, Carrie says the CEO's work is never really done. Looking to the future, she'd like to serve more local youth and make more headway in addressing the affordable housing crisis. On the personal side, she's excited to learn pickleball and improve her golf game. I'm with you there. Nick's over there. He's a really good golf coach. Yeah. And eventually, not quite yet, but eventually, pass the baton and retire. Today, we recognize the remarkable impact that she's had on her industry and her community. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, Carrie Burkhofer.
Good afternoon. I'm so honored to be here. First, I would like to congratulate my fellow honorees, Greg, John, and John. So congratulations to them for sharing the stage with me. It's very well deserved. I'm excited to hear all of your stories. I'm so honored to be inducted into the Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame. I want to begin by expressing my deep gratitude to the Hall of Fame committee, chaired by Nick Pasculi, for considering me for this prestigious award. It was really a surprise when I was told that I was receiving it, and I'm still extremely honored and grateful to be here today. I also want to extend a special thank you to Ted Burke. He's the owner of Shadowbrook Restaurant, who nominated for me for this honor. And it was kind of a funny story. He invited me to what I call the secret lunch. The restaurant's not open during lunch, and he invited me to have come lunch. And I was like, okay, do you want to tell me what it's about? And he said, no, I'll tell you when you get here. So it was a little bit intimidating, and I got there, and Terrence sitting there, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I found out and immediately was gracious and really excited by this award. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize my family, who some of are here today. They're my greatest supporters, and they've been definitely a rock through my life and in my life, and also including on my professional journey. It isn't easy being a single mom, raising 3 kids, and being CEO of a financial institution. I'm so grateful that 2 of my 3 children are here today, my daughter Sarah and my son Alex. Isabella couldn't make it. She's down in college at Chapman University in Southern California. I'm so proud of the adults that you've become. And what's most fun about this journey is they're my good friends now, so we get to travel and have a lot of fun together. So thank you for being here. I'd also like to acknowledge my father, who we heard a little bit about. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, but he and my sister, I think, are watching the live stream. So hi, Dad. Hi, Laura. My dad was my first mentor and has always been my greatest supporter by offering advice and guidance throughout my career. He was also a CEO, so he had a lot of tips for me. One quick story that he shared with me that stuck with me is once I was working through some difficult challenges, and he said, try something that I used before and it might work for you. He said, when you arrive to work and you're in the parking lot, sit in your car for a few minutes and pretend it was your very first day walking in as CEO of the credit union. What would you do? And that was great advice. He said, just get out of the car and then go do that. And I thought that advice was helpful through many times in my life. It's really great, actionable advice to give to any leader trying to make a difference. So thank you, Dad. Sadly, my mom is no longer with us, but she was another role model in my life. She was always my biggest cheerleader. She was one of the best caring moms, and I know she's with us in spirit today. I also want to acknowledge my team that's here. We worked together, many of them for many years, to tirelessly to make a difference in our community, and I deeply appreciate your support and energy that you bring to work every day. Definitely my work family, so thank you to my team. And a big shout out to one of my board members who's here today, Keisha Browder. She not only serves as a volunteer of Bay Federal, but she's another hero in our community, serving as the United Way President CEO of Santa Cruz County, so thank you for being here. And thank you also to B, Lily, and Corey, my team friends here that are here at my tables. Thank you guys for being here too. As I reflect on my career, I'm motivated by the similar core beliefs that we've learned that Junior Achievement believes in. I was impressed to learn that Junior Achievement's goal is to have a world where young people have the skill set and mindset to build thriving communities, and it often starts with one person who volunteers to be a change maker in the young person's life. Bay Federal's mission, for those that might not know us well, is to make a real difference in our Tri-County by helping people achieve financial empowerment. We started in a humble way 65 years ago by 8 changemaker school teachers who each put $5 in a box in the Santa Cruz High School Teachers Lounge. They started the credit union with just that original deposit, and then as they grew more deposits, they started lending it out. The very first loan was to a school teacher that was getting a crib for their new baby. These deposits and loans have grown over the years to over $1.6 billion that's being circulated in our community, one loan at a time. We now serve all people who live, work, and go to school and serve in the community of Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito counties. We're similar to Junior Achievement in that we both believe in the power of collaboration and the importance of supporting our community. I want to thank Junior Achievement for all you do to help our young people achieve their dreams, and the economic, education, and career readiness programs that you provide are a vital resource for our youth, equipping them with the skills they need to succeed in the business world. We saw some of the students here today. You guys did a great job. I look forward to working more closely with Junior Achievement, where we could be a positive force together in supporting one another and building a strong and prosperous community. Lastly, I want to say thanks to Taram Barca Hall, who really made it easy to look like this event came together, but I was super impressed from the minute we met at that lunch until today with all the organizational skills he has putting this together. And thank you to the Hall of Fame committee again for your honor. It's really amazing for everyone to be here in this room. I feel your support and I appreciate this generous award. Thank you.
So we're going to take a real quick break. You have some homework, though, however. We want you to take a look at the auction items, bid those up a little bit. Also, we've heard a lot today about volunteering. All of you in this room have expertise. And if you have a little bit of time to share it with young people, that would be terrific. And it really is sort of the core of what Junior Achievement does. They depend on all of that expertise and those expert volunteers. So there is a table out in the lobby, so if you want to volunteer, if you have a little bit of extra time to do that, I want to give you about 5 minutes to go and sign up there or auction, or you can network and you can think about maybe donating. Looking at that $20,000 goal, I'll try to get an update for you before we end tonight, see where we're at. So 5 minutes and we'll be back. start our fundraising because it is a fundraiser. You know why you're here, right? We're about halfway, Taryn? Halfway to our $20,000 goal. So Dr. Betty decided to up her donation to $2,000. Thank you, Dr. Betty. There she is. So that's, the challenge for everybody else out there. If you'd like to up your donations, help us get to that $20,000 goal. If we get to the $20,000 goal, honestly, that's your goal for the whole shooting match. Yes. $20,000. You've done all the other fundraising outside of this room. We get to that goal. So halfway there, so if you can dig a little deeper, we'd all appreciate that. Thank you. And Taryn, you have some raffle winners, I think?
Yep, real quick.
Okay, real quick, and then we'll get to our final honorees.
Yeah, so this is not anything auction related, but you saw the raffle baskets in the hall. We have our winners. We pulled the tickets. And
Put you all on the news.
So I'll tell you who won, and on your way out, see Anastasia and take your item home with you. And Betty, you got the Pebble clothing package. So purely coincidental. It was not related to her generous gift. Purely coincidental. Gary Pike, you won the Winemakers Festival. So take that. Cindy S., the whiskey package. Steve Troy, the vodka martini basket. Niraj, tequila is yours. Okay. And then I've got an Alex B., the whale watching package. So those go home with you. If they stay here, they're mine. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for supporting the raffle. Okay.
Our next honoree. It's been a tough couple of weeks for agriculture. They are the number one industry, I think, right? Number one industry on the Central Coast. And this is one of the true leaders in that industry. Our next honoree grew up immersed in Salinas Valley agriculture. The Dorigo family has been feeding American households for generations. John developed his toughness and tenacity early on. At age 12, a model rocket accident left him blinded for several months, caused him to miss an entire school year. But here's the deal. He did not, however, miss a grade level. He learned to outwork and outstudy his peers, a trait that would serve him well for the rest of his life. John's professional career began in the fields. His father, the great Andy Dorigo, provided tremendous training, mentorship, and inspiration. He did not, however, provide a guaranteed seat at the table. That John would have to earn. So for more than a decade, John worked every labor position in the industry, cutting and packing lettuce, loading trucks, planting fields. He learned about irrigation, electricity usage, all aspects of farming, hands-on and in the dirt. John supplemented his practical education with a degree in agricultural economics from UC Davis, where he was inspired to stay ahead of the curve, keeping up in a highly competitive industry and focusing on innovation. In addition to his father's influence, John cites the early mentorship of Jim Matusaro, a former college professor who worked at Dorigo Brothers. He taught John how to lead, to get people pulling on the rope in the same direction. By 1990, John had proven himself ready to take the reins as CEO. This began a remarkable 3-decade run of growth and innovation. Under John's leadership, the company added over 7,000 acres of ranch land, more than 30 transactions in total, helped establish food safety protocols that are today still industry standard, and embraced technology at a time when many were hesitant. Today, the agricultural industry is as much about technology as it is about farming. John and his team saw that coming early and established an industry-leading mechanical engineering department. This team continues to change the way that produce is planted, watered, picked, and packed. Through technology, farm workers continue to play a vital role, but are empowered to work smarter, not harder. Dorigo operations across the western U.S. pick 1.5 million heads of lettuce every day. Dorigo, California has invested heavily in renewable energy. Solar arrays power the cooling operation for their main facility in Spreckles. And what a remarkable facility it is. John's father, Andy, was known for his meticulous attention to detail, a trait passed on to John and reflected in the immaculate state-of-the-art facility that houses their operations and perfectly embodies the Salinas Valley's hard-earned moniker of salad bowl of the world. John's leadership carried the company through the challenges of the pandemic stronger than ever. What component of Dorrigo, California's operation stands out the most? Well, if you ask John, he'll tell you it's the people. He is most proud of the people he has helped build, the team he has helped build, and the cohesive atmosphere that makes the company thrive today. Along the way, John and his wife Sandy raised 3 sons who have launched successful careers of their own. Together, John and Sandy have supported countless charitable causes in the Salinas Valley and beyond, too many to name here. Reflecting on his family's philanthropic legacy, John mentions a family mantra coined by Andy and repeated for generations. This valley has been good to us. We need to give back. And they do. Today we honor all that John has given back and all that he has accomplished. Please join me in congratulating John Dorrigo as we induct him into the Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you all for being here today. It means a lot to all of us, taking time out of your day to really have a joyous occasion and celebrate what Junior Achievement's doing with these kids. Maybe I'll just lower this thing just a hair, huh? Anyway, I'm really honored to accept this award and just my sincere gratitude and appreciation of Junior Achievement in Northern California, the Hall of Fame Committee chaired by Nick Pasculik, who I know very well. Nick, a lot of years with Nick we spent. I'd also like to thank Taryn Barca Hall, the Regional Director of Central California, for all his help and guidance during this process. Because in addition, I got to thank Stephen Goldman, who did also do a little deal with Taryn, surprised me on that award at lunch one day. So thank you, Stephen. Where are you, Stephen? Oh, there you are. You changed seats on me. You're hiding from me. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for nominating for me this award and the tremendous honor that it carries. Definitely, Aaron talked about my folks, my mother and my father, Phyllis and Andy Dorrigo. My mother passed away a few years ago, but they really instilled a very generous, charitable focus in our family. We were taught at a very young age, it's our duty and obligation to give back to the community and valley that's been so generous to our family. And that duty and obligation really turned into a labor of love. It's giving back, paying it forward, watching lives change. It's really been quite satisfying for me personally. It's kind of my focus now. Since I have such a great team that works with me, I can really do that because they do what they do. My wife, Sandy, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for your love, your guidance. 3 wonderful boys, all successful. 32 years of marriage. In addition, I'd like to thank longtime friends, really important to me, business associates, our family of employees, many who are here today, all 3 groups. I really appreciate the loyalty and support. It really means a lot to me. You've generously given me your time, talent over the years, and I really couldn't do what I do unless you do what you do, so thank you very much with all of my heart. So within our relatively small community, we've seen tremendous increases in the needs of children and young adults because they lack the resources and guidance to achieve a successful career and productive life. I've seen that over and over again. For this reason, as a family, we made the decision to offer support to local organizations that aid in systematically affecting the change in lives of our Valley's children from birth to adulthood. Kinship Center, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, Rancho Cielo, and on. We just wanted to do from birth to adulthood, see if we can change their lives, help them through, supplying that love, that guidance, that mentoring, education, give the tools to achieve that success that we're all looking for. I got to confess, I really didn't know much about junior achievement until I was surprised by Stephen and Taryn that day, and then I started learning about it. I just can't believe I didn't know much about it, and I'm just so impressed with the economic education and career readiness programs. I had no idea the impact that they were accomplishing, not just here locally, but nationally, globally. So for young people entering the workforce today, working and surviving financially are often two very, very separate things. The programs offered by Junior Achievement concentrate on career readiness, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, all of which are very important lessons, but not only for our young citizens to learn, but for each of us to teach. So that's what we've been doing, and that's what they've been doing. And we're definitely changing lives doing that. I see it every day. So DeRigo Brothers Company, as well as really many other companies in Salinas Valley, there are so many doing such good work out there. We offer internships to help our youth explore their educational and career opportunities and interests. But many times this isn't enough to fully encompass the realities of working life. It's just not enough. Like you saw the young folks talking about a tour they did at our facility, just opened their eyes. It was fabulous to see the wheels spinning and career paths that we're thinking about. So we're just going to keep on doing that, trying to really help them develop, what is your working life going to be at? What skills do you need? So as a fourth generation farming family, this year we're celebrating our 100-year anniversary. So we're very happy about that. It's very important to DeRigo Brothers. We got to remain a leader, both within our industry and our community. And so to do that, we really actively got to research and develop ways to continue farming with new technology. How we did it in the past is not going to cut it going before. It's impossible. We're getting into automation, robotics, all sorts of systems, and that's a whole different education path for these youth. So we've got to work on that. So that's going to be the future, and we're going to really empower these kids to look at these careers in the robotics and the AI and all the rest of it. As someone said earlier, our family, many of you too, really, without the people, that resource, we're done for. That's our most important resource. And so we encourage all our employees at every single level to bring in methods, processes, ideas to move us forward. Anything's on the table. So Junior Achievement alumni, with their forward-thinking and can-do attitude, are exactly the type of individuals who will help move our industry to the next level. It's just proven time and time again. The more we teach them, the more careers development. I remember years ago, went to a few of these schools, they literally thought we were just simply overall and pitchforks. I swear. They had no idea what farming today is all about, how technologically advanced it's getting. And once you open up that, and then they realize, wow, it's not just farming, there's soil science, there's those robotics I was talking about, computers, you can be a lawyer, you can be a CPA, you can be anything you want. But the only thing we don't have in the farming industry is probably rocket science. Really, every other job is there, and they're finally waking up to see this, and so is the schools. That's why I started by CETA, which is a public-private partnership with the University of Arizona. The most successful partnership I've been in with a public-private, really exploring all these avenues of career development. And we fund the research, and they do the research, and these jobs are getting developed. And it's bringing kids in because now they're finally realizing, wow, career in agriculture is not just out there with, the horse and buggy and, planting seeds. It's really technological. Anyway, the numbers with junior achievement are very impressive. Speak for themselves. I was really surprised. Well, according to their website, in the most recent school year, junior achievement in Northern California engaged in approximately 3,300 volunteers and provided over 500,000 instructional hours to more than 90,000 students. That just blew me away. I had no idea the numbers they were involved with. So my hat's off to all the people responsible for that. So I truly believe that junior achievement and its supporters and volunteers are making that huge difference that we need in the lives of these young people. You saw some of them here tonight. They're just inspired. Our industries, our companies, we're really going to benefit by all your work. It's tremendous work, Taryn and everybody. Okay, our collective goal as a community is to impact the lives of our young people, to teach them the lessons that they need to allow them to, through their words and through their actions, and to teach the next generation to keep this going. And I saw that in those two young people today. That's exactly what they're going to be doing. So in closing, I'd like to congratulate all the Junior Achievement Monterey Bay Hall of Fame honorees being recognized today. I'd also like to acknowledge the stellar group of local business women and men who have already received this honor. Many of you saw up there earlier today. It's truly a humbling experience, and I sincerely thank you for this award. Thank you.
All right, one more. We're going to stay on the theme of agriculture, but probably not what you were thinking. Our final Hall of Fame laureate built one of the Salinas Valley's most successful farming operations, but we are not talking about lettuce or strawberries. The Metzer farm story began modestly. John's dad, Olin, grew up poor in the open spaces of Montana. He was the only one of his 9 siblings to pursue higher education, eventually earning his doctorate and becoming a teacher. John's mother was also a teacher, and they settled in the southern reaches of the Salinas Valley, where John grew up. Olin enjoyed keeping and raising ducks strictly as a hobby. The ducks were also a convenient way to control the snail problem in his sheep pastures. Eventually, he had enough ducks to begin selling duck eggs around town, and it was during this early phase of the business that young John overheard a local customer say to his dad, "You know, I'd buy 10,000 of your eggs if you could only produce that many." That planted a seed. John had already had the instincts of an entrepreneur. In high school, he bred sheep. This connected him with a local rancher named Buck Wiley, who took John under his wing and introduced him to the broader world of commercial agriculture. After completing his degree at UC Davis, John returned home and set to work turning his father's hobby into a business. The hatchery grew steadily, with new products added nearly every year, new breeds of ducks and geese. Fresh duck eggs, baby chicks, Metzer Farms became a comprehensive waterfowl hatchery, supplying day-old ducklings and goslings to customers across the U.S. and Canada. Who knew? Major expansion came in 2017 with the acquisition of a hatchery in San Benito County, and another significant leap with the launch of a brand new 21,000 square foot facility in Memphis, Tennessee. This bold step takes us to kind of a remarkable story about John's commitment to his business and his hands-on leadership style. Tennessee was not chosen at random. Metzer Farms is in the business of shipping live animals, most of which find their way to customers via FedEx. FedEx's hub, of course, is in Memphis. A few years ago, John and his team were seeing a problematic uptick in the mortality rate of their live birds. Too many were not surviving their time in freight. John studied every aspect of his supply chain, but just couldn't nail down the issue until he personally joined the flock and tagged along for the full 24-hour shipping journey of a Metzer Farms chick. He went along. It was there, while being loaded onto a FedEx plane, that John noticed the issue. His shipping partners were so efficient with their loading and packing that they were not leaving enough space between the crates to give every chick fresh air to breathe. FedEx probably didn't know a lot about chicks. John stepped in, solved the problem. Another day in the glamorous life of an agricultural entrepreneur. The company is still based in Gonzales, and in 2014, John's son, Mark, made it a third-generation enterprise. From a pair of ducks shipped to backyard hobbyists to commercial orders of 5,000 ducklings or more, Metzer Farms is an industry leader whose market reach extends from coast to coast. John and Sharon have consistently given back to their community. John served on the board of Hartnell College, helping to expand access to higher education, especially for South County youth. John says his success in business pales in comparison, though, to the satisfaction of raising his family with Sharon. Mark and his sisters, Janelle and Aaron, all grew up on the farm, and in recent years have added 5 more future duck farmers to the family. Today we honor the patriarch of the Metzer clan and salute his many contributions to our community. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, John Metzer.
Down? There we go. Thank you very much for the award. It's very much appreciated. I too was surprised, probably justifiably more than the other 3. Smaller company. But looking at their criteria, I noticed that I got 2 of the 5. So I know that Nick was a great supporter, who's a committee chairman, so I know that you pulled for me, Nick. You covered the other 3. Thank you. As was mentioned, my parents are teachers. They both passed, but they were teachers. My dad was one of the first ones at Alice L. High School. My mom was a grammar school teacher. My father-in-law was a teacher. My sister's a teacher. A lot of educators in the family, and I think this ties in extremely well with junior achievement. And I also, admitting my ignorance, knew very little about the organization. But I think for those of us that are new to it, it is extremely impressive of what it does. As was indicated, when I was at Hartnell for 2 years, then went on to Davis. And my goal was to become a large animal livestock research, a professor at Nebraska or Iowa. And this fellow contacted my dad, as you were mentioned, saying we could buy 10,000 eggs. And so I stayed with an animal science major, but I started taking other classes. I took all the business classes I could take. All my electives were in business. And so it was because of this one person that said something to me that my whole life was impacted. My whole life changed. Now, the kicker is I never met the fellow and I never sold him a thing. But we all have an opportunity to touch people, whether individually with what we say or do, or through an organization like this and donating. Some of you are capable to donate the money, and it's going to a great organization, and you're touching people that way. And other times you touch people you don't even realize you've touched them, of things that you say and do. So, no, I don't work for Junior Achievement, but I think it's a great organization. And another thing I just sort of wanted to mention, it ties in a little bit, is the connection we have with each other. And I sort of realized this as they all spoke, that my son Mark, he spent a year in South Korea teaching. The other day, Greg mentioned, well, there's some failures too that aren't up there. And I read something from Henry Ford recently that said something to the effect that, a failure is just an opportunity to do it again with a little bit more knowledge. So, and with Carrie, 2 of my 3 kids are here. Mark is back in Memphis. And some of the classes I took were accounting. And my son didn't, and I highly encourage accounting, so. And John, we're both in agriculture. You have an excellent first name. I admire that also. So, as everybody has said, it does oftentimes boil down to family and the support they have. And so I have my wonderful wife Sharon and my 2 daughters are here, and my nephew John is stepping in. Another great John, stepping in. So I'm making this very brief, but most of you are converts for junior achievement. That's why you're here. There's some of us that are new, and I'm just excited as I'm getting hopefully closer to retirement that I can work with organizations such as this. So anyway, thank you very much. And they saved the last to me. Not the best, but anyway, thank you very much.
Well, the sun is shining. That wraps up this year's Monterey Bay Business Hall of Fame induction ceremony. As I said, the sun is shining, and let's hope it's a sign of things to come. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for what you do every day. It's been a tough few years, and you guys really have been an anchor for so many of our communities. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next year.